Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of GTA San Andreas. In the last episode, we had some interesting encounters with racing, and in this episode, we're finally going to be covering the Oddjob I've been talking about for about 10 episodes now. And as you may have guessed, it is the Paramedic's Oddjob, and if you come down to Angel Pine, you will find an ambulance near the You Get In motel, and across the road from that is the Angel Pine Medical Center, and then around this area there should be an ambulance truck or ambulance van or something. And lucky for us, we didn't have to go far because this Angel Pines itself somehow counts as this whole city, because as well you'll get to see as we do this, we only have to travel back to this point when progressing through this Oddjob. So what better way to start this than to actually start this? And as you can see there, we have to drive carefully because not only do we have a timer, but we only have a small amount of time. No, the time increase that we get is only a little bit, and that increase will go down the more you hit or the more you collide with stuff. Or anything around us, really. So the more you crash, the less time you have, and the less time you have, the more likely it is you will fail. But I will say this, having a smaller area to do this in makes this much easier. You could call this cheesing this thing, but it's perfectly intended, or it's a good way to do this, or good, easiest, the best way to do this, really. But if we did this in an area like Los Santos, it wouldn't go down so well, like not well at all. And of course, for some reason, the ambulance can only fit 3 other people, or 3 passengers, when you'd think it would be able to fit more than 3, because in the back it kind of looks like there's like 4 seats there. I guess I just wanted this to be challenging. And of course, once you get to the drop off point, you can just go back over them. And unfortunately, people in this area can be a little bit insane, so this isn't the best passenger wise, but overall it's much better to do it in here. And also, like the firefighting job we did, back in episode 11, there's only 12 levels for this. And again, because we're in such a small area, this shouldn't take too long. But as you can see, even now, like even at level 4, we are starting to have to go back and forth. And as with the fires and the firefighting missions, the amount of people we have to save is relative to the level you're on. So with level 4, we have to save 4 people, and better hope that anyone you bump into doesn't decide that they will decide to chase you down, because that will result in less time you have. And there's the actual AI of the patients. Sometimes aren't that great, especially if you move back and forth a lot. And of course, like pimping missions, or with any odd jobs, I guess, your vehicle isn't immune, or your vehicle isn't invincible. And again, because of this area, it is easy to tip, and if you tip, you have to, you are going to have to restart. And I'm not sure if the ambulance respawns right away. I think it might take time, and it takes a bit of time to get back to Angel Pines. Although I'm just kind of glad you don't have to drive over any highways, because I guess it's because most of the roads around this area are highways, and I think the game might just program all vehicles on the highway to drive insanely fast, because like even on the way to Angel Pines, I went through about 2 vehicles, and that was just on the way there. Although driving on the right side of the road might help a little bit with that, but you know. So we're just doing this, and hopefully we don't take too much damage here. Although I will say that the point of worry is when you start getting smoke on or over the engine, which won't be great. Although another thing that helps quite a bit is that if there's an accident, or if the patient gets into another accident, there won't be any penalty for that. They won't receive any penalty for that. And of course, the ever hilarious spawning issue that you get when too close to a building or a wall, forcing that would just force the patients to get back up. And I just realized I didn't drop everyone off. I only managed to drop off a few people. Not only one. That is another issue as well. they don't get out immediately sometimes. You are going to have to wait until the stat bar saying seats 3 is back up to 3. And also, I think another thing as well, but once there's like around 10 patients around in this area, if you get lucky, you can park in between them and have both of them run up to you, or run to get in. That's something. I'm just hoping that I don't fail this, like even one sec, because this is a little bit tedious and kind of only wanted to go through this once. Even though we are in a small area, this does seem like it takes forever, and I forgot to set up a timer so I can see how long I've been recording for. I mean, it's not like I really need to, but I guess it will help. Like how episode 16 ended up taking an hour and a half to record, so hopefully that's up on time. You know, it doesn't all that. Okay, cool. And I can I'll probably estimate this to take about 20 minutes, and that's just in this area. If it was in an area like Los Santos, it would probably take around 40 minutes, upwards to 40 minutes, depending on how lucky you get, because you can get really unlucky. And of course, anytime you hear a grunt, that means you've lost a bit of time. And so we're about halfway there, or halfway done with this, but we've passed the halfway mark, and we're going over to the 3/4 or 3/4 of this done. Again, hopefully I'm not jinxing myself with this. Should be bad. What? Did you bump into me? Can't you see that I'm driving an ambulance here and I'm trying to do work? But of course, country bumpkins don't give a shit. And I guess a good strategic way of doing this is to go and get the ones furthest away first. But the way that I tend to do it is if there's more than 3 left, like if there's more than 3 patients left altogether, then I just go and get 2. Like say if there's 4, I go and get 2 and then go back. But that's only to make each trip seem more worth it. Did not like how the car or the vehicle responded to that turn. I swear that NPC looks a hell of a lot like Dampé from Legend of Zelda. He's a skinny version of Dampé. And I was actually going to ask a stupid question. And I mean like a really stupid question, because I apparently forgot that Dampé was in Majora's Mask for a second there. I was going to ask, is Dampé in Majora's Mask? But of course he is. Most of, if not all, NPC or / models for Ocarina of Time were in Majora's Mask. Isn't like the only exception there, like no, I was going to mention the Gerudos, but they're not, well they're still Gerudos. I think the only exception to that NPC rule is Ganondorf. I think that he may show up in a cutscene somewhere, not 100% sure. I haven't played Majora's Mask for a while. When I mean a while, I mean I hope, yeah, let's go get that one. Only because they're close at the hospital, or the medical center. And if you're wondering what your reward for completing this Oddjob is, and I believe I may have mentioned it before, but your health bar is maxed, that's it. Like with the firefighting to get the ability to withstand or resist fire. In the pimping Oddjob, you force hookers to pay you. That's yeah, I guess it kind of classes as spoilers, but then again, who cares? In the vigilante Oddjob, you get, I guess it's increased armor technically, and by that I mean the amount of armor you get doesn't, the bar itself doesn't increase, or there's no larger bar for your armor. It just expands to being about the amount of damage you can take increases before the armor wears off, which I mean can be useful, but by the point of actually doing the vigilante job is easiest without cheating, then it's kind of pointless. Because I believe the vigilante Oddjob is one of the last Oddjobs that we're going to have to do. Only because I mean we could go ahead and do that now. I mean all it would take is a hell of a lot of ammo, but that's only one of the ways. It's not the easiest way, because later down the line, I mean a lot later, you get the ability to have tanks, or as this game likes to call them, rhinos. And I also believe one of the rewards for getting 100% in this game is a rhino, but easier access. I mean a lot easier of an access point. But then again, oh, there is someone in there. It's like, why are you going in the front? Yeah, I'll just break my little rule and get this guy or get this patient. I mean, could do it the way you're most like thinking of doing it, with getting a standing cop car and just going berserk, but that way is needlessly difficult, especially as your level increases, because, well, the main reason for it being is that your ability to be wanted isn't taken away while doing vigilante missions, which I guess kind of makes it which means there would be a reason for that. But even then, like, if you just choose to take your wanted level off and keep it off, even still you would, like, even at that point, it would still be harder, or as hard as it would still be before. But then the way that I might show off is still kind of risky, and at the point where you actually get the ability to go get a rhino is kind of late. So then again, you may as well just leave it for the ammo. It isn't necessary at all. Like, this might not make much sense, but in a way, the reward you get for doing the Paramedic Oddjob is much more useful than the Vigilante Oddjob reward, only because in a sense that you can actually see what you got for doing it, whereas might have just been me, but the only time I've gotten the Oddjob reward for doing the vigilante missions is I didn't really see that much of a difference between the standard armor and the increased armor. And yeah, let's go back down. And I mean, I guess the only reason why the reward you get for doing this is considered more useful for that is that even though you do get the reward eventually, you do get the reward for doing this, you get it much earlier. What the fuck? What? Is it because it's foggy and they can't see me, or what? And I mean, even in my case, when it's not going to be as useful as it could have been, it is still kind of useful, because you never know when your health bar is going to max out on itself, or by itself. You may as well do this and get a little help. And now for the dreaded level 12. You're going to have to do this, go back and forth 4 times at maximum, or minimum. I mean, if you wanted to, you could go back and forth 12 times. Then again, that would be kind of stupid. And the ambulance isn't smoking, so that is great. Although it could start smoking anytime now. Especially since how reckless I'm being. Although I think I think I got a good pattern, not really pattern, like patient layout, because you can get like 3 very close to each other at like maybe even 4 at the exit area, or at one of the exits to this place, and that is not great. I mean that as it's not the furthest place away, or the furthest distance, but it is one of the furthest distances, and having to go back there multiple times is really annoying. And I kinda wish they told you how many patients you rescued. That would have been great. Is this really my 3rd time back? And of course, your vehicle skill does increase. Although I think by around the time I want to start attempting the one thing we missed, or one of the things that you missed in Los Santos, we should have more than enough vehicle skill for that. And again, what I said before, your wanted level isn't disabled, so you can still get wanted, and because you're waiting on natural people to get in your car, it might be a bit dangerous. And of course, since you don't have any way to get around that, like a really good way to go around doing that, and I think there's still time enough for me to fail, and I believe I failed around here before. Yeah. And we have maximum health now. I mean, around the time, I think it would have eventually gotten to the maximum in a few episodes time, but I guess we should go around doing the second thing I wanted to do, and that is buying all of the safe houses within the country, which there's 5. I mean, there would have been 6, but I kind of brought one. Kind of brought this one back at episode 16. Oh no. That's an expensive one, so we might not have enough money to be able to buy that, and if that doesn't take too long, we may as well go back to attempt to buy a few safe houses here, back in Los Santos, because I guess we can. And once we buy all the safe houses in the country area, that means there's only 2 things, I believe, that are still left to do, and that would be one of them. So I guess let's start doing that, and if there isn't much left to say, I will like to bring up there was a phone call that we missed at the end of the very end of the last episode, where we unlocked a mission from Truth, and we'll get back to that episode, or we'll get back to that in the next episode. But in the meantime, let's just go around buying houses, and this may be the optimal. This might be a great time to increase our vehicle skill by driving around, but because this is the country area and there's not many good vehicles you can get in the country, in this area, I may as well just use the Sanchez, because they are, it's one of the better vehicles you can get around here, because it can tear up mountains with ease. And let's cut around to buying houses. Fun. Hopefully we have enough money for like 5 houses. Well, now 4. If we don't, that's going to be a problem, because the next odd job I feel like that is probably going to be covered isn't going to be until a while, and that might be a problem. But hey, I mean, at this point we're halfway done with the Oddjob missions, and by the time we're done with the story side of the next area of this game, we should be close to about 50%, so we should be about halfway done, or halfway towards 100% completion, which is going to be great. Oh god, can we? Yep, we flat out don't have enough. This, god. Well, that's one of the houses we can't get here. That's going to have to be for later, which is great. So over to Blueberry, I guess. I wonder if we are going to have enough money for all of the safe houses, like altogether in the series, because right now we don't have the most amount of money. Isn't this the farm we just passed into with for episode 18? No, episode 17. I don't even remember my own the missions we covered in the episodes anymore. Fun. Although that is mostly because we covered a lot of missions, and I do have a lot of things to actually edit. Like, I think at this point I've only got the last episode I actually edited was episode 13, and we can't actually go anywhere with this time. It was episode 13, and this is episode 20, which is about like 7 episodes I still need to record, or still need to edit, really. And I guess really record the post commentary of, which is going to be a bit of work, but most of them should be easily edited. If I wanted to, I could edit most of the episodes within one day, and then have them ready to upload the next. Oh god. What? Why is there a blue guy here? Oh, go. Shit. Fuck. I didn't want to die. But I guess we're dead. And we're all the way back where we don't really want to be. We wanted to... And we have more no weapons, which means we're going to buy some more weapons. Fun. Well, I guess we can worry about that later. And yes, we did run into one of the girlfriends you can find around here, or find around the world of San Andreas. I think that's the second one I found. Just by myself, or without the help of a guide. But I think the way that we unlock or get her to be our girlfriend is another thing that is just another optional thing for 100%. I have this. There was no door. I mean, I'm not gonna grind for money in this episode. I'm just gonna have to come back to when we do have enough money for it. Are they running away from her? She's just doing target practice, guys. There's nothing to be afraid of, unless you've actually accidentally shot her. But hopefully by the time we go on our next safe house spending spree, we should have enough. Hopefully we should have enough for the single remaining house left in this area. And I mean, technically you could call the one that we're not attempting to buy this area, but I kinda count it as Los Santos. And I mean, we are getting a bit of money back by doing stun jumps, and we're back to not having much money at all. Yeah, like no money. He's only having money in the thousands. When we have like money in the 100,000s. Jeez, it was 100,000 or like just 10,000? 10,000s. Yeah, I think it might have just been 10,000s. But that's all I wanted to do in this episode, so I think we might just call it there. Might not be the most interesting episode ever, but I mean, we finally got done with the paramedics Oddjob. Now we don't have to worry about our health increasing again. And we, I guess, continued buying safe houses, which may not sound like it, but this is one of the things needed for 100%. It's odd, but you know, oh well. So I've been Cheekalties, and see you guys next time when we might end up saying goodbye to the Count for the country for a while. So that's being said, peace and pineapples, guys.